really the best Kyle Busch. And so over these last 10 years or so, 11 years, since he had his first kid, you just...
Tragic death of NASCAR champion Kyle Busch. His family revealing he died from severe pneumonia that then progressed into sepsis. Busch died on Thursday at the age of 41, just days before he was scheduled to race.
Yesterday at the age of 41. Take a look at this X post there on your screen coming from TMZ Sports. Kyle Busch's number 8 will be reserved until his son's NASCAR career. That news just coming.
The world of motorsports has just witnessed a media shock as a dominant icon officially enters the dark period of his career. Once a unique phenomenon with hundreds of prestigious trophies, this highly popular driver is facing the darkest days in the history of the championship. The prolonged silence of the experts was finally broken by a cold and ruthless statement from his former teammate wearing number 11.
Kyle Busch's family entering Charlotte Motor Speedway. From left to right on your screen, his father Tom, his mother Gay, older brother and NASCAR Hall of Famer Kurt Busch.
The tragedy of the decline of a sporting empire not only exposes deep internal rifts, but also unearths a series of bitter hidden aspects from the turbulent past of a legend. The historic move to the Richard Childress Racing Team at the beginning of the 2023 season initially brought optimistic signs for Kyle Busch through a series of 3 quick victories.
Every track, but mile and a half especially, and Ross having a great run here, able to put that car.
These positive results in the opening stages quickly sparked hopes of a strong resurgence for the former champion in his new car, the number 8. Nevertheless, that brief wave of excitement was quickly extinguished in the second half of the season when Richard Childress Racing began to reveal major flaws in its operational system. Frequent mechanical failures on the track, combined with a series of serious errors from the pit crew, repeatedly deprived him of the opportunity to compete for the lead. This technological and personnel slump didn't stop there. It directly dragged the entire team's performance into a dark period that lasted from 2024 until the present. This tragic decline officially set a sad milestone as Kyle Busch endured the longest winless streak of his entire Cup Series racing career. This systemic decline led to his first-ever elimination from the playoffs, an unprecedented scenario for a driver of Busch's caliber. The core reason for this impasse lay in his inability to adapt and find common ground with next-generation cars. As the Richard Childress Racing Team lacked the financial resources and technological infrastructure to develop its technical capabilities like other NASCAR giants, the despair and psychological pressure weighing on the champion were evident in the internal radio communications where fans constantly heard profanity and helpless shouts directed at the race engineers. It was in this context of severe crisis that Denny Hamlin decided to break the silence with his cold, judgmental remarks on his personal podcast, Actions Detrimental. The driver wearing number 11 didn't hesitate to use his platform to dissect Richard Childress Racing's inherent weaknesses in detail and ruthlessly, while frankly pointing out that Kyle Busch's pure skill was no longer suitable for the new technological era of NASCAR. Hamlin presented sharp arguments about how the engineering of the next-gen car completely negated the cornering control driving style that was Busch's trademark in the past. These scathing statements from a former teammate served as a final verdict, officially declaring the end of Kyle Busch's reign of dominance, marking a tragic end to a glorious era for the old number 18 car. In response to the demeaning remarks from his former teammate Kyle Busch, delivered a fierce retort to reporters at the racetrack's media center to defend his honor. Standing before a barrage of cameras, he bluntly declared, "Denny Hamlin knows absolutely nothing about what's going on inside our racing team, and I'm ready to make his life hell every time we meet on the track." This powerful statement immediately triggered an endless psychological war between the two major forces in American racing. pushing their already tense relationship to a new level of animosity. The future and legacy of the current number 8 driver are more uncertain than ever as he struggles to survive his performance crisis while simultaneously facing the immense public pressure stemming from Hamlin's judgments. The deep rifts and public declarations of war are merely the tip of an iceberg that has accumulated over many years of ups and downs. To understand the root of the harshness in Denny Hamlin's judgments, one must turn back to the glorious pages of the past. That page marks a long and turbulent journey where the two biggest egos of this generation were forced to survive under one roof. The exile at Hendrick. Kyle Busch's career officially began when he entered his first full season in the Cup Series with the powerful Hendrick Motorsports team. Experts and fans were quickly captivated by the young rookie's innate talent when he achieved a historic victory at the Fontana circuit. That outstanding result not only earned him the prestigious Rookie of the Year title, but also helped him break the record to become the youngest driver ever to win the top race in the NASCAR system. The early fame brought absolute confidence, but it also began to sow seeds of instability in the relationship between an overly strong personality and a highly disciplined management system. Internal cracks began to appear increasingly clearly as disagreements between Kyle Busch and team owner Rick Hendrick and the senior technical staff became irreparable. Busch's extreme risk-taking driving style frequently put the car in dangerous situations, contradicting the safety and sustainability philosophy that Hendrick's management always pursued. The young driver's impatience and unrestrained statements on the internal radio system whenever technical problems occurred gradually exhausted the patience of the management. This rift pushed both sides into a deep crisis of trust, causing the team's elite to begin to worry about the young star's ability to control his behavior. The conflict culminated in a shocking dismissal that rocked the transfer market when Hendrick Motorsports officially announced they would not renew Kyle Busch's contract. This decisive decision aimed to pave the way for the team to recruit superstar Dale Earnhardt Jr., who possessed both media appeal and the necessary composure. At the age of 22, but his exceptional talent and promising future Busch suddenly became an outcast, abandoned by the very place that had launched him into the spotlight. This shock of being fired forced the young driver to seek a new home to prove himself and reclaim his lost position. The opportunity for rebirth came when Kyle Busch decided to join Joe Gibbs Racing, taking on car number 18 and the legendary M&M's/Mars sponsorship. This new partnership immediately created a huge sensation on the racetracks, as Busch exploded with 8 wins in his first season. The absolute technical support from Joe Gibbs Racing unleashed his full potential, turning car number 18 into a terror for all opponents. This also marked the clear formation of a new pivotal image in his career, the Rowdy. Kyle Busch's villainous personality and flamboyant demeanor gradually became a unique trademark, completely setting him apart from the rest of the league. Instead of trying to appease the crowd, he chose to confront them directly with a defiant booing celebration amidst the furious boos from the stands. Busch embraced the role of the villain in the public eye, readily taking control of any media controversy and transforming audience hatred into motivation to win. This powerful rise confirms the truth that rebellious instincts, when properly channeled, create an unconquerable force. His resounding successes on the racetrack gradually solidified this flamboyant racer's position in the mainstream media. Nevertheless, behind those fiery performances and defiant attitude, his life began to shift to quieter, more hidden corners. New challenges no longer lay at the turns of the racetrack, but appeared within his small family, where he faced fierce battles for survival. The peak of championship. Behind the glory and flamboyant image on the racetrack, Kyle Busch's personal life took a new turn after he married Samantha. This marriage soon faced an extremely harsh challenge as the couple confronted a long-term infertility struggle. Through public interviews and later autobiographical writings, they bravely shared the entire painful process of in vitro fertilization, both physically and mentally. Repeated miscarriages nearly crushed the couple's resolve, but they decided to turn their pain into action by establishing the Bundle of Joy Fund. This organization was created to provide financial support to over 150 underprivileged families seeking to become parents through modern medical procedures, making a significant humanitarian impact beyond sports. Just as their family life was stabilizing, a horrific accident at the legendary Daytona racetrack pushed the driver's career to the brink of death. During a race in the Xfinity Series, Busch's car lost control at extremely high speed and crashed head-on into a concrete wall that lacked a safer, sensitive fault reduction barrier system. The horrific crash generated immense impact, causing him serious injuries, including a fractured tibia in his right leg and a fractured metatarsal bone in his left foot. The frantic sounds of emergency medical calls at the scene and images of the champion being carried off the stretcher into the ambulance shook the entire American sports world. At the age of 30, facing complex surgeries and bone-fixing screws, Busch had to seriously consider the risk of having to permanently retire from racing. The subsequent physical therapy process was a long series of days testing the limits of human endurance with extremely rigorous rehabilitation exercises. Missing the first 11 races of the season seemed to have ruled him out of the title race, but NASCAR management made a historic decision. The organizers granted him a special exemption, allowing him to retain his chance to compete for the championship on the condition that he win the race and finish in the top 30 in the overall standings after his return. This seemingly impossible task activated the strongest fighting instincts of the driver, nicknamed the Rowdy, the moment he was able to stand on his own 2 feet again. His comeback quickly turned into one of the greatest feats in motorsport history, with a series of lightning-fast victories throughout the summer. Busch conquered major circuits consecutively, accumulating enough points to squeeze through the narrow gap into the main championship race. In the decisive race at Homestead, Miami, he brilliantly defeated his formidable rival Kevin Harvick to finish in first place, winning his first Series Cup title, amidst the jubilation of his family in the technical area. This achievement was further solidified when he went on to win his second championship, officially etching his name in the pantheon of legends with a milestone surpassing 200 wins across all 3 top divisions of the league. His resilience in the face of adversity transformed the champion into an unassailable icon of willpower in the eyes of both fans and experts. The successive gold trophies brought to the trophy room served as a powerful affirmation of his absolute dominance and that of the organization he had been associated with since its humble beginnings. Nevertheless, the world of racing offers no room for lasting peace, as undercurrents from economic challenges began to threaten the very survival of an empire. The cracks of an icon. While the working environment at Joe Gibbs Racing brought great success, it also fostered a complex relationship between Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, sharing workshop space and top-secret technical data. The 2 drivers owning cars numbered 11 and 18 established a strained rivalry that lasted for over a decade. These underlying tensions erupted into a notorious verbal clash at the 2010 All-Star race, when Busch publicly issued violent threats against Hamlin via the race radio system following a dangerous collision on the track. This toxic rivalry between the 2 strong personalities not only created a suffocating atmosphere in the technical briefing room, but also put the team's leadership in a constant position of having to mediate core conflicts of interest. The simmering internal rift began to escalate into a widespread crisis when a major media shock emerged from the strategic sponsors. Mars Incorporated, the owner of the M&M's candy brand, which is synonymous with the number 18 car, unexpectedly announced its official withdrawal of all sponsorship from NASCAR after decades of partnership. The loss of this huge and stable source of funding immediately plunged Joe Gibbs Racing's operational structure into a serious deadlock. The team's management was forced to race against time to find a new partner with sufficient financial resources to meet the compensation demands of a two-time champion like Busch. The subsequent commercial negotiations were extremely tense, with plans to sign a deal with the technology giant Oracle completely collapsing at the last minute. The failure to secure financial support exposed the cold-blooded calculations of the management system as Joe Gibbs Racing began considering lower-cost personnel replacements. In a tearful press conference held in the summer of 2022, Busch publicly admitted for the first time to an uncertain future and a lack of guarantees from his racing team. The harsh nature of professional sports was exposed as the historical contributions of a legend were quickly overshadowed by the pressures of revenue. The much-publicized parting of ways was officially confirmed when Joe Gibbs Racing decided to let Kyle Busch go after 15 years with the team, paving the way for young driver Ty Gibbs to replace him. This event marked a major turning point in Busch's career as he was forced to leave his familiar environment to seek opportunities for survival in a completely new organization. The decision to sign with Richard Childress Racing to take over the number 8 car from the 2023 season was not only an attempt to salvage his career, but also a risky gamble for him personally. The shift to a system with more limited resources required the champion to face unprecedented mechanical and technological challenges. This change of team colors and car number marked the end of one of the most enduring ties of the modern racing era. His first steps at his new headquarters carried both high expectations and considerable skepticism from experts regarding the compatibility of two different racing philosophies. What unfolded behind the doors of the new team's workshop began to shape a tumultuous final chapter where distant childhood memories unexpectedly resurfaced, offering an explanation for the untamed nature of a legend. A troubled childhood. Kyle Busch's unruly ego was shaped by his family roots in Las Vegas, where he was born and raised under the strict tutelage of his father, Tom Busch. The presence of his older brother, Kurt Busch, who later became a great champion, inadvertently cast a huge shadow over the younger brother. Beginning to drive go-karts at the age of 6, this young talent quickly displayed the exceptional qualities of a speed prodigy. Between 1998 and 2001, he consistently dominated local Legends Cars competitions with over 65 victories, establishing absolute dominance in amateur racing and attracting the attention of professional scouts. The major turning point came when he officially signed his first professional contract with Roush Racing, paving the way for his historic debut in the Craftsman Truck Series. At age 16, Busch became the youngest driver in history to debut at Indianapolis Raceway Park, creating an unprecedented media sensation. In his very first race against seasoned veterans, he brilliantly finished in the top 10. This resounding success not only confirmed his innate talent, but also promised a rapid rise of a new star in the official NASCAR racing system. Nevertheless, the young talent's burgeoning career unexpectedly encountered a harsh legal hurdle at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. The tragedy began when the kart motorsports division held a race on the same day and at the same location as the NASCAR race, with Marlboro cigarettes as the main sponsor. According to the strict regulations of U.S. federal law at the time, individuals under 18 were completely prohibited from participating in any sporting activity involving tobacco brands. This coincidence led to a cruel decision when the organizers demanded Busch's expulsion from the racetrack in the middle of the race week, depriving him of the opportunity to showcase his skills. The legal repercussions forced Roush Racing's management to remove him from the competition to avoid complex legal risks for the team. Deprived of his greatest dream at such a young age, Busch endured a long and frustrating transition period, having to compete in the American Automobile Association to maintain his driving skills. This restrictive racing environment inadvertently became a crucible, forging a resilient and somewhat defiant character in the young racer in the face of the injustices of his circumstances. At the age of 18, a fateful development contract with Hendrick Motorsports was signed, a reward for years of enduring hardship in obscurity. Looking back at his entire journey from a child deprived of his dreams at age 16 to a great champion struggling to regain his former glory, we understand that Kyle Busch's ego was never built on peace. Denny Hamlin's cold judgments may be the end from a professional perspective, but for a rebel like the Rowdy, it could very well be the spark for a resurgence from the ashes. And do you think the era of the number 8 driver has truly ended? Or will he once again silence everyone? Leave your opinion in the comments below so we can discuss it. If you enjoy in-depth and authentic investigative reporting like this, don't forget to support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next thrilling drama on the NASCAR track. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you again.